talk about how public transportation is more planned and you don't really have a say or a choice, so that's why it's like more convenient.
Only cars allow you to be spontaneous. When you get behind the wheel, you are in control.
As like sweaty and crowded rush hour in Paris can be, the trains are really consistent most of the time. So like you'll, even if like one train that comes is too packed, there's a next train in 2 minutes. You can get on that one and you'll usually get to where you're going at the same time. The buses are less reliable, especially during rush hour, because obviously they're still in the ecosystem of like cars and you can get stuck in traffic on buses. But when it comes to taking the Paris Metro, I don't think I've ever had a situation where the trains were delayed so much, or I couldn't get a train so much that I like was late because of the trains. I was just late because I left my apartment late.
Okay, so I have to be honest and call a spade, but there's maybe been 2 times where the train was stopped for whatever reason. Like if someone leaves a bag on the metro, they have to stop it for a while, or like if there was a traffic accident. I think that's happened to me twice. However, the construction that goes on in the Paris Metro and the number of like changes they make to the schedules is so annoying, especially line 4 and 14. Those are the ones that I've taken where I have to remember that, after midnight 14 stops running, and same with the 4, like after a certain time, like after midnight stops running. So it only affects you if you're a night owl and you're just out really late. But it's still really annoying to have to like change your schedule around that. But yeah, those have been the only reasons that the metro has delayed me. But most of the time, like, I kid you not, if Google Maps says you're gonna get there in 30 minutes on the metro, you'll get there in 25. Versus if you're taking a bus or car, like if there's traffic, you can't control that. You can't control how many like stoplights you get to. Like you just have way less control in how fast you're going. Like if there's an accident on the road, that also ends up giving you delays. So I just think it's more like the metro is way more like consistent, and as long as you just leave at the right time, you'll get there on time.
Even though the trains are more planned, I think that gives you more flexibility and you're able to get to places quicker, especially during rush hour where a car might have been faster. Like in Paris, the trains come like every 2 minutes when during like peak hours, and outside of peak hours I think it's like every like 4 to 5 minutes depending on the train. So you're gonna get to where you're going. Obviously, I keep saying Paris a lot, but this does translate to any city that has a decent public transportation system. Paris isn't even the best, I'd say. Tokyo is known for having really great trains and like really consistent timetables, and just you'll get to where you're going faster than the speed of light in Tokyo from what I've heard. But I just keep saying Paris because that's what I have experience with. In certain instances, driving actually takes more time in Paris. I think it's because there's so many one-way streets and a lot of like, it's a pretty walkable city, so it's not as catered to cars as as cities in the US, where, oh my god, in Vegas trying to walk places, I honestly felt like I was like fighting for my life. And I feel it, and I'm pretty sure Vegas is one of the worst cities for pedestrians. Like there's a lot of like pedestrian fatalities, and I can attest to that because I did not feel safe walking in Vegas. But yeah, versus walking in Paris, it's pretty convenient, it's pretty easy. They're also making it a pretty bikeable city, so the more they make it catered towards people and car and bikes, the less fast it is to drive places. And so then more people will bike and walk, less people will be driving, and then they'll have to invest in more public transportation. So these are kind of things that kind of compile upon themselves. And I do think it does make for a more progressive society, rather than staying in this whole notion of like, I just want to take my car everywhere, you know? Oh yeah, and then the last thing that I wanted to add, with this elementary idea of saying with a car you can just get in your car and drive anywhere, so therefore it's always going to be faster and more convenient. You would not say the same about like driving 5-hour versus a 1-hour flight. My hometown to my college was an hour, like 45-minute flight versus driving it was 4 hours. Would you say driving is more convenient just because you get in your car and then you can get there? No, you'd probably say the flight was more convenient. The only thing that's probably getting more people to drive that distance instead of flying is the cost.